welcome in. My name is Erin. For those who don't know me, I go by Erin, or you can call me Bun or Erin Bun or any of the combinations of those names. I'm here today on Twitch to teach you step by step how to recreate this painting that I made. I made this maybe like a month ago on Twitch actually. Most of the designs you can actually see me create live on Twitch. I usually use the help of the chat and different ideas from the chat who was there at the time to create the original designs. So this is the one I came up with for today. We don't have a name for it. I always leave the name open for everybody in chat to suggest names. So even right now, if you want to suggest any names, feel free to do that in the chat. But this is the painting in real life. Here's the digital version over here. And the idea is I'm going to paint it along with you step by step. So I've got a nice fresh canvas here. I'll be sure to bring this up to like show you and refer to things throughout the event. But otherwise, you'll pretty much mostly see my canvas here and just the step by step kind of painting process as I go. So I'll be sure to verbally tell you what I'm doing, but you can also just watch along and go at your own pace. As I said earlier, if you have any questions, that's why we're doing this on Twitch. You can chat with me if you have any questions or if you need me to repeat anything. I'm always happy to do that, so feel free to ask or just use the chat to chat with other people. Some people are painting. I'm sure some people are just watching along as well tonight too, so if you just want some company, you want to see some art get created, you're in the right place for all of those things. Marion, welcome in. Hey. For those who might be wanting to paint this later, I saw a couple of you already saying that. That's absolutely fine. Just know that I do upload this to YouTube. Hopefully within the next week. I was just explaining that it might take me a little longer this week just due to some personal plans I have. But yeah, YouTube is full of all of my past tutorials in the meantime, so you can at least enjoy those while you wait for this one to be uploaded, but I would expect in the next week or so, it'll be up on youtube.com/erinbunpaints. Excuse me, my throat's getting dry. In terms of supplies tonight, I always list those on the event page that I post on Facebook when I'm booking these events, but if you need just a little refresher, here's what I've got for you. I've got 5 different paint colors. We're actually only using 4, but if you want full customization of colors and like styles, you can use 5. I'll personally be using red, yellow, blue, phthalo blue specifically, and white, and then I said black is kind of an optional color. I don't have it in my original here, but if you want to use black for like a silhouette, or you just know you'll want some black paint for something customizable, feel free to pour that as well. Otherwise, just the 4, red, yellow, blue, and white. In terms of paint brushes, I've got 3 for you, and I always use the same 3 as well. I have this large flat one, good for nice backgrounds and stuff. We'll be using this one a lot. We have a medium round one, so a little better for like smaller details, like little curves and things like that, a little easier with a pointed brush there. And then we have the small round brush. It's just a nice detail brush for, of course, little details for maybe like the trees on the very bottom, tapping like this, or maybe like some birds if you want to add something extra, you know, nice detail brush for those little extra things. And then beside me, I have a cup of paint water, I have some paper towel, and of course I'm wearing a shirt that I don't mind getting paint on. This is my SpongeBob shirt. We have Squidward here saying artists only, so that's my painting shirt for today. And I think that's it. And I guess I'll say this should last about 2 hours, so prepare for about 2 hours of painting. And I always hang out afterwards to answer questions and to hang out and just chat as well. So if you want to take a little more time on your painting, again, please don't rush. I would just go at your own speed. As long as you're enjoying the process, that's more important to me. So yeah, just enjoy yourself. Here we are. So we're gonna start off on the very top of the canvas here. You can see we kind of have this, like, I think it's more of like a sunset vibe, all the nice, very warm colors. The sun's kind of setting. It could be rising, but I'm gonna say it's setting. So I'm gonna start us off by doing some nice bright yellows over here, and then I'll teach you how to blend it into those nice kind of like peachy oranges before we start our mountains, okay? So I'm going to start with a large flat brush. As I mentioned, I'll probably be using this one the most throughout this event. And I'm going to start by actually mixing together a yellow. I do have plain yellow on my plate here, but I'm going to mix just a touch of white into it, just so it brightens up a little bit. And I've talked about this before, but I use very, very thin acrylic paint, very student grade acrylic paint. And I find my yellow as a result is very transparent, but if I add a little white to it, it kind of brightens it and makes it a little more opaque. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm not really changing the color of yellow, it's more so just adding the white to help with that opacity a bit. Once I have the yellow, I'm just going to start swiping that on left and right. Left and right. In the top right corner, and just in kind of like a small little patch. So you can see just like wisping my brush left and right. I was kind of using the thin edge so I get all these kind of like thin points and streaks going, rather than just like a solid clean blob, you know? I want all these nice little streaks in there. And the other thing you'll note is I'm adding, I would say, more yellow than on the original, and that's because I'm expecting that when we add the kind of orange and peach to this, it'll probably eat up a little bit of the yellow. So I'm kind of adding more than I think I need. That way I can blend and not worry about getting rid of some yellow. So nice easy step to start, just a nice little section of yellow wisping back and forth with your brush. All right, let me catch up with chat here. You'll see this a lot, everybody. By the way, I'll be teaching steps. I try and prioritize the tutorial, and then I'll go back to chat. So if you see me ignoring anything for a minute or two, don't worry, I will get back to it. Freckle Smith, I did a huge move east coast to west. Oh, you did like the full one, huh? See, I wouldn't say I'm like east coast, but yeah, that's huge. 2 months ago. Wow. If you have any tips for me, feel free to throw them my way, even though I'm in the last week of preparing, but happy to hear about your experience or anything you learned. Yeah. It's a lot, isn't it? I, again, haven't really done anything quite like this before in terms of like so many items being moved, so. And Tina, you're fine. That's good. I'm glad. You're just watching along tonight, I assume. Yeah. Kay Wills, welcome in, noob to the channel and beginner. No worries, no worries. I think there's a lot of new people here tonight. For those who don't know, I kind of post this tutorial information in a wide variety of spots on the internet, so we get people from all over, and some people are just finding me for the first time. I know some people like watching me on YouTube and make their way over here as well, so that's always really exciting. I love kind of seeing some names, putting some names to the viewers who I don't know who they are, you know, so all good. You're amongst friends here, Kay Wills. Timber, hey, good to see you again. Will I save the vlog? Yes, I always save the vlog. You can always watch this back if you'd like to. Otherwise, I'll also post this on YouTube as well. All right, let me move you on to the next step. We want to get to the next step before this yellow gets very dry, because we want to blend our next color into the yellow. For those newer to acrylics, acrylic paint dries relatively quick, like 5 to 10 minutes, so we just want to make sure we're working with it while it's still wet so we can get that nice smooth blend in there. So let's make our next color. I'm just going to call it an orange, but you can think of it as any form of orange, like a lighter orange or a peach or whatnot. I'm just going to use the same brush, and you can see I haven't washed it off. I'm just going to use the same one. And I'm going to mix together yellow with just a little bit of red, because I'm going for more of like a bright and light orange, I would say. I'm not going for like a really deep orange or really fiery orange, just a nice bright and light one here. But again, customize to what you like, right? If you want a deeper orange or want to add other colors in here, feel free. But I'm just mixing yellow with a little red. And I'm always trying to match it to my original just to keep it as accurate as possible to the original, but again, that's not what you have to do. You can do whatever you like here. So once I have that color, you can see I'm just swiping it on here, same way as before. I'm just using my large brush. I like to use the thin edge and go back and forth. So I'm going to start by kind of going around my yellow section. I might go a little into it, a little out, but trying my best to go around it for now. And then I'll do the blending after. I might make this a little brighter, actually. And this is the nice thing about acrylics and most paints in general. You can kind of change them as they go, right? If you think you need it a little bit brighter or want to change the color at all, I'm kind of looking at the camera. It looks pretty light orange. I can just pile on a little more of a new color and blend that in. You can see how it slowly changes. I can just kind of choose to alter it a little bit by adding more of a certain color or a brand new color, and it'll just blend in nicely, as you can see. So I'm going to the left and to the right of this yellow. Maybe a little below as well, just to make sure the sky has some room to move here. Room to show. There we go. So I've added the orange, and then I'm going to start swiping really into the orange to help blend. So I personally like adding the color first and then blending. Yeah, names to the... I almost said that, Gray, and then I was like, but I never see the faces of anybody. It's kind of weird. Art Bug Me, hey, welcome in. But yeah, it's true. The names to the faces behind the cameras that I never see. Either way, once I've added the orange, everybody, you can just start to blend in here, and I'll pause after this step just to make sure we have lots of time. So what I did with my brush on the side is I just washed it off a little bit. So I'm grabbing a clean brush and I'm swiping in between those two colors, in between the orange and yellow. And you can see what happens is it starts to mix a little with the yellow. You'll start to get some nice in-between shades here, some nice very light oranges. And as expected, my yellow is being eaten up a little bit. You can see it slowly disappearing as the orange blends into it. So if you need to fix that, if maybe it ate it up a little too much, you can just keep washing off your brush and then going back in and blending. That'll help kind of get rid of any orange on your brush that keeps kind of accumulating and blending. Or you could even go back into your yellow and just use some yellow on your brush while you're blending. And that'll help kind of counteract the orange a bit. So yeah, you can keep adding a little bit of those extra colors just to kind of refreshen them as well to help with easier blending, smoother blending. You're just playing around. You're just kind of swiping all over in between, allowing those to create a nice smooth edge there. So take your time. I'll give a couple minutes for that because I know we kind of did those two steps a little fast there. I'm just going to keep playing with all the colors, all the oranges and yellows, but I'm not doing anything different. I'll just kind of play with the painting as we're chatting here. Freckle, my advice to is always a general. Toss what you haven't used in 1.5 years. I know. It's hard though. So I'm actually leaving, sorting my clothing. I feel like till one of the last things. I really should do it sooner rather than later, but that's why, Freckle. I just don't want to go through the tossing. Like, I'm okay with donating a lot of stuff, and then when it comes to clothing, for example, I'm like, but I could use that. I don't know what it is. Clothing I have such a hard time getting rid of. And I think it's because, too, I paint. So even if a clothing item is ripped or, like, is super old, I'm like, that's now my painting clothing, you know? I can never seem to let go because of that. Joey, I'm so sorry. I just saw your message there. Dry brush blend, wet, got it. Yeah, it was a wet on wet blend. My brush was a little bit wet, but mostly it was clean. I would say it could even be a dry brush, but yes, it's wet on wet blending in terms of the two wet colors. Yes. Watch vlog. No worries, Timber. It was good to see you. Savage Kitten, hey. First time here, will I be able to rewatch this? Yes. First of all, welcome in for your first time. Second of all, yes, you can rewatch it. It is actually available on Twitch right when I'm done painting, so you can rewatch it here on Twitch. Or if you go to my YouTube page, youtube.com/erinbunpaints, I plan on uploading this for free as well. So if you're more of a YouTube person or you want to be notified once that's uploaded, you can head to YouTube. Here, let me grab that for you. There you go. So I'd recommend subscribing. It's free to do on YouTube, of course. And then that way you'll be notified when I post this up, hopefully in the next week or so. When you pack clothes, roll them and they take up space. That's like a... Is that a Marie Kondo thing? Maybe not, maybe not. I feel like she does a very specific fold with her clothing to save space. Anyway, that's a good tip, Vonda. I'm just hoping I don't have as much clothes to even deal with. I think I'll be doing that tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to that. Everything else has been nice to kind of declutter and minimize. I just think clothing's going to be something else, you know? It's going to be a little bit harder. Okay, giving one more minute on the sky, and then we'll move on to our first layer here, our first mountainscape layer. First of many. Again, I'm not doing anything different here. I'm just continuing to play with my paint. I'm just either using orange or yellow and swiping back and forth. Savage, great, thank you. Perfect, perfect. Yeah, and for those who don't know much about Twitch, following, so by clicking that little heart button underneath the screen, that'll just give you it's free to do, and that'll give you notifications for when I go live again. So if you want to see what I'm doing on Twitch, you know, outside of tutorials once a month, feel free to click that little heart. And then subscribing is a way to support me financially, which again isn't required but is an option as well. K-Wills, use cloths for packing. Kitchen, yeah, that's true. Socks, make good covers. Oh, that is a good point. Maybe it's good that I left my clothing till last. I can use it for all my dishes. I feel like I'm gonna get rid of most of my cups because most of my cups right now were all thrifted anyway. And I kind of like that, so I might just like not bring them with me and just make it a mission to go and thrift when I arrive at my destination, you know? So yeah, but still I want to keep some plates and stuff, so I appreciate the advice. Yeah, towels between plates, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to packing up dishes either. I feel like that's gonna be a hassle. Anyway, just my moving woes. Let's move down the painting a little bit. So we have our nice like orange sky here with the nice yellow in here. I'm gonna start to move down to our mountains. We still have some clouds to add in the sky, but we're going to wait until the orange is dry to add those so that we're not mixing all of these muddy colors together. So let's go down to the first layer. The first layer is, you can see it's pretty pink, but it's actually pink with just a smidgen of blue in there to make it like start to lean towards purple. So it's definitely not purple in my opinion. I'm sure we all have different opinions on colors, but it is technically like leaning towards purple with that kind of pinky purple tone. So let's make that color and I'll teach you how to apply it here. All right. So I'm going to keep using that same large flat brush. I would wash it off, of course, before continuing. And I'm going to mix 3 colors together. I'm going to mix lots of red. Red is the main color for this this mixture here. I'm gonna grab just a touch of blue as I described, just a teeny bit, just to like make it almost like leaning purple, kind of going towards almost like a maroon, but not quite. Just the tiniest amount until you start to see your red turn just a little darker. And I said 3 colors. We're actually starting with these 2, and then we're going to add a 3rd. Forgot that part. So just lots of red with a little blue to begin with. And then I'll show you the 3rd color we add to kind of add the gradient in there. We want to start with this nice dark color here. So here we go. Just going to start to add our first mountainscape. So what I like to do is I like to use the wide edge of the brush, and you can use the thin if you want, but I personally like to use the wide one. And I just kind of start to go from the left and start to move to the right. And do some little bumps. I start to go up, a little down, maybe I'll go up, down. I'm trying to just cover this area with a nice horizon line here. So a nice like first layer of our mountainscape. Just kind of like soft peaks is what I would describe these as. There's never really any harsh, you know, very mountainous peaks that are like very sharp, very clean. These are almost like rolling hills, but I would call them mountains, I guess. As a whole. So you can see just gliding my brush across. You can see every time my brush disappears from the screen, I'm just reloading with paint, so that way I have a good fresh amount of paint on my brush. And just slowly starting to work my way across. So kind of like one big strip of this color. That's the other reason why I like using the wide edge, so I can ensure that I'm doing a nice big strip of this first color. Again, if you're someone who likes to use kind of the thin edge like this to kind of just shape out what you're doing, you can of course use the thin edge and then follow with the wide edge of your brush just to ensure you're getting some more color on there. Share, oh I see you there. Ecstatic to be able to see you again because physically unable to join paint night. Oh yeah, tons of subscribe. TY 10 subscribe from Florida. Excellent share. I'm glad you're enjoying seeing me. Yeah, I've been loving doing online content personally as well. I was kind of forced to go online with the pandemic, and I know obviously we're still within the pandemic, but I understand that some people have, you know, become a little more comfortable with going out again. I personally, I'm liking being online still. I'm liking offering my services online, so you can expect me to stay here online as well. So lots to look forward to. Gertie, hey, welcome in. We're just in the middle of a little tutorial. I'm just going to teach the next step and then we can keep chatting, but good to see you. Happy Sunday. All right, so I've got my strip of color here. And then all I need to do is add a little white to my color, a little white. So you can see I just dipped a little into the white here, mixing in, maybe incorporating a little more of my color if I need to. And we're just creating a lighter version of the color we had. So you can see it turning a little more of that pinky purple. Just adding a little more white here. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this color underneath and then blend, so we get more of a seamless blend from top to bottom. So again, a little bit of white into your previous color. And then you can see what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to swipe that on. We don't need to be as careful with this. We don't need to follow the exact up and down motion we were doing before. You can see I'm pretty much just swiping this on horizontally at this point. Just kind of, once again, applying the color, and then we'll blend it. So bring it up nice and close to the original color. And then we can blend. So applying the color and then just simply swiping back and forth with our brush in between the two colors to blend them together. You can see that'll create a nice transition from our darker color, our darker kind of pink purple, to our lighter pink purple. And again, we can alter if we need. If you maybe blend out like I did and you feel like you want more of a transition, I feel like I could use more of a transition. It looks pretty subtle, this dark to light here. So if you want to try again, you can always mix together more white into your color, reapply at the bottom, and just blend again. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just reapplying that lighter pink purple. I added a little more white this time, and then I'll start blending by brushing back and forth in between those two colors. There we go, that's a little better. So now we see more of a transition here. So again, feel free to play around while the paint is still wet. You can always, again, play around a bit more. You can go back and fix up anything up here if you need to. So I'll give some time for that. Freckle, other moving advice, be more specific about labeling boxes, not just kitchen, but like, yes. I unpack by level of priority. That's actually a good point. I should almost prioritize boxes too. I think that's overall a good point. I have been making lots of lists though. I've actually really enjoyed doing that. I have my little bullet journal and I've made a couple spreads for like box contents or things that I'm even keeping track of things I'm getting rid of so that I don't panic when I arrive and say, where's this thing? And then I realize I donated that thing. So that's actually been quite enjoyable for me. I've been really liking kind of tracking everything. So thank you. Yes. Yes, Gertie. Yeah, we're all sharing moving advice with the whole moving date coming up for me. So again, I'm not doing anything extra. I'm just kind of reapplying some of that darker pink purple just to kind of clean up these edges here that I wanted to fix up a little earlier. And if I didn't say it as well, you'll want to make sure that this layer covers up any remaining gaps, right? So we're not seeing any gaps in between the orange and this pink purple. I've made sure that this layer overlaps the orange. So you can go right on top of the orange if you need to cover up. You just want to make sure there's no existing canvas in between. And then I guess one other thing I'll mention too is you can see I'm doing a lot of these very long brush strokes, especially after I've cleaned everything up. That just helps smooth everything out a little bit better. If you start to do smaller brush strokes, let me show you. Like this, you kind of start to see these little ridges, right? And that's just because your bristles are kind of pushing and pulling as you're doing small little strokes. So if you do one solid one, it starts to smooth that all out. So I kind of like to do all the hard work of blending and all that, and then I kind of go back and smooth out just with a very gentle touch. Just smoothing out in between any colors or kind of like up and down as you saw me doing. All right, so that's a layer. Again, I'll give an extra minute in case you're still working on that. Wait, I didn't know you were moving. Oh, are you still gonna be in Canada? Yes. That's okay, Gertie. It's been kind of like, I've been mentioning it a fair amount like the last month, but honestly, it's been like in the works for a while, and I kind of didn't talk about it just because I wanted it to be more like firmed up before I started saying I'm doing it, but I'm doing it. Everything's rolling along now. Yeah, this week, it is Sunday now. Oh my gosh. This week I'm loading up essentially like a little tiny storage container and shipping that off. And the week following, I'll be starting my drive out to Canada, to West Coast Canada, not out to Canada. So yes, I'll still be in Canada, just a very completely different province. Provinces away, over to the west. So yeah, big changes, big changes. So I'll have advice for you as well. Speaking of moving, we have a lovely West Coast streamer coming in. Nads, hey, welcome in. I'm just in the middle of doing a little toot. I was just telling people about my West Coast move. I've been mentioning it a bit, but it's all becoming real, as you know. So welcome in, Nads. Nads is another art streamer on Twitch. She does digital art. I almost dropped my plate. She does digital art for those who don't know her, and she's just a joy as well. Full of energy, full of spunk. Originally from Ontario as well. I'm just following her around, apparently. So give her a follow if you haven't seen her before. Thank you, Sober-ish. Welcome in. Thanks for the follow. Again, excuse me, guys. I'm just doing a excuse me. I'm doing a tutorial. I'm just doing a step-by-step tutorial, so excuse me as I paint my next step, and then I'd love to chat with you all. Feel free to fill that chat with messages, and I'll read them all once I'm done this next step, just for those painting along with me. Cool. All right, let's go to the next color. Next color is just more of a plain purple. I would call this more of like a traditional purple or a warmer purple, something like that. But when I hear purple, this is exactly what I imagine in here. So that'll be our next color. So we can use that same large flat brush. I'm already running out of red. But yes, we'll be mixing red with a little bit of blue together. A little more blue, I should say, than last time. Last time was a little bit of blue. This time it's a little more blue. So you're getting an even darker purple. I guess it'll appear dark, but you'll see once we add the white, it'll become nice and light again. But yeah, a little extra blue into your red-blue mixture to get, you can see a little bit of a deeper purple here. Okay. Once you have that mixed, we're going to do the same thing again. If you want to follow the exact kind of look of my original painting here, for this mountainscape, I started a little more in the middle, you can see here. Kind of like middle or off middle, just to get some variety, just so it wasn't row after row after row. I wanted some angled, some overlapping a little bit. So yeah, I'll start this about a third of the way over. Again, anywhere below my previous color here, and I'll start to go up into that color the same way as before. So just using the wide edge of my brush, kind of bopping up and down a bit, creating those kind of soft peaks. Rolling hill type vibe with a little bit of mountain thrown in there. And you can see I like to work my way up. You can see I'm going to work further up into this kind of pink purple, eventually almost meeting up with that other edge here. So coming up and meeting there. I will clean this up. I just wanted to show you visually there. So you might notice a little bit of mixing, by the way, because that layer was fresh. Just keep piling the paint on a little bit, mixing it in. It will eventually blend in and mix into a color that's a little better for this layer. So you see, it might mix a little light to begin with, but the more I add, the more I can just kind of cover that up there. All right, so work on that. I'll keep catching up with chat here. Oh yeah, again, like Nads is digital art queen, so of course her emotes are amazing. But wait, I haven't seen the help one with the horse. Is there lore to that, Nads? My queen, no distracted to pee. All right, go pee. I'll ask again when you arrive back if you come back. I want to know the horse lore. Frey, hey yo bun, hey Frey. Welcome in, it's toot night, so we're doing step by step. Hope you enjoy. So again, just kind of thickening that up a bit. Using the, again, edge of my brush as I swipe along here to do a nice clean top edge. And then otherwise the bottom edge we don't need to worry about right now. That's looking good there. Again, use some nice large brush strokes to kind of smooth it all out. Okay, and then no rush, but whenever you're ready, you can do the same process before. We're just adding some white into our existing color. And by the way, you can see I just pile it on top of my existing color. If you want to be a little cleaner and plan ahead, you could make a different pile. That way you still have access to this color, but I'm a little more chaotic on my paint palette and I just pile colors on top of colors. So again, feel free to put a little more thought into that. I just, you can see I'm very messy. But yes, once you've added the white, you're doing the same thing. You're simply brushing that color just below the previous. So getting a nice new kind of bottom layer to this purple layer here. And then once the color's on, you can start to focus on blending. So just brushing in between the darker purple and the lighter purple, allowing them to blend together and creating a nice seamless transition. You can see sometimes it takes a little work just to brush a couple extra times, so try not to get frustrated. That's just the paint trying to do what it wants. You're trying to do what you want it to want it to do, so just keep trying there, piling on a little more paint at a time and just brushing away until you get that nice blend. I'm just going to take a moment to refill my red. It's already getting low and we need more. There we go. And if I didn't say it before too, of course, use whatever brushes you like. I'm always recommending a brush, of course. I did recommend this large flat one, but if you ever want to pull out a smaller one, maybe just to get a little more detail in your top edge here, or just maybe you just like one a little better, feel free. There's no real rules to this kind of thing, at least not in my tutorials. I don't have any rules to painting. I appreciate the idea that like everyone just kind of finds their own way, and I'm giving you advice and giving you what works for me, but if you find a better way, better brush, whatever it is, definitely do that. Ignore what I'm saying and just do your own thing. Hey Nads, welcome in. You're fine, yes. Oh my gosh, hi. Yeah, I'm getting pretty excited about this move, so I keep mentioning it, and then you came in like right as I was talking about it, so like, oh my gosh, what a sign. I was just telling everybody you're a lovely digital artist to go follow you, etc, etc. People complimented your emotes. Oh yeah, and I wanted to know the lore, if you have lore behind that horse emote, because I don't know if I've ever seen that. The help? The horse help? There we go, yeah, I put work into these two. They're all so cute, and I was like, of course they're amazing, because you're digital art queen, but yeah, the horse, I don't think I recognize is that. I don't know if it's newer, I just haven't looked in a little bit. Yes, yeah, I joked I'm just following you apparently because you did start out where I was and then you moved West Coast, and I was like, haha, me too, hee hee. Hee hee, haha. I copy, hee hee. Do 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 do. Yeah, that'll be interesting, kind of switching to like being West Coast streamer, like different times and stuff. I wonder how my times will change. Because I feel like you altered your schedule a bit, right? But I know that's because you have other things going on, like work and all that, new job and all that. Okay, giving one more quick minute for this layer, just in case anyone's still working, and then we're going to go down to the next one. So you kind of get the idea, right? We're just going to be going layer by layer. I'll keep going nice and slow with you, kind of telling you what colors on each layer, but yeah, we can start to see how this is going to come together with each, just different colors, slightly adding more blue into our colors, getting closer to these blues and greens down here. But again, I'll go nice and slow with you. The burn-in emote is what? Is blurst? Where am I seeing? Oh, it's shaking. I love any of the shaking emotes. You mean cursed, I assume. Blurs, burn it. I feel like I've seen that. There's some reference to that emote before. Yes, there's lore. Basically, me and Vaguin came up to the elaborate tale lie that we own a horse and suit to. I see. So is there a suit emote, I assume? And yours is yelling help. I just love the help. Somebody please help me. Hey Todd, giving us a good lick. Giving us a nice lick. Welcome in, welcome in. Happy Sunday. Hope you've been enjoying your day. I'm not sure if it's a work day or not. Not as familiar with Sundays anymore because I stream only minimally on Sundays. But welcome in either way. All right, painters, we can go on to our next layer here. So as I described, a little more little, even more purple, even more blue, I should say, excuse me, leaning more towards purple. I feel like some people call this more of the true purple. To me, it's this one, but that's okay. They're all red-blue mixtures, so we're just going to add more blue to make this more of like a blue-purple, or starting to get to the blue-purple, and then we'll continue on. So here we go again. You can either mix more blue into your previous purple or make a new pile, and again, you're just mixing red and blue, but more blue than before. Using the same brush. I did technically wash it off, but if you're not washing off in between these steps, it's not as big of a deal because they're all very similar colors, so you're not going to get much or many issues with color interfering. It's more so you might want to wash off just here and there so you get the shape of your brush back, so it's not too loaded up with paint in general. But in terms of cleaning off for color, it's not as necessary this time. All right, so keep in mind, you can always test a little, like if you're not sure if this is like a different purple, give it a little test, just give a little dollop close to your other purple, see how it's looking. Mine's definitely different, so I'm gonna go ahead with that one. I might even re-add a little more red just to get a closer transition here. But either way, same idea. Whenever you're ready, you can start kind of on top of the pink purple, that first layer. And you can see what I'm going to do is I'm going to wiggle my way down to meet up with the second layer here. So once again, making sure I'm not leaving gaps. So you just want to make sure you're closing up that gap there. And then from there, you can really go wherever you want. I'm going to bring this maybe down a little more. Looks like I kind of come down to the bottom edge here. I'll just wiggle my way across. So after this first little bit, not a whole lot going on. I'm just kind of doing a casual wiggle across the canvas. It's new Whoa! For God of Boy? Very exciting. That's huge. I guess they're kind of back in stock now. Haha. I feel like that's been for a month or two now, but I don't know, some areas, some people are still complaining that PS5s are out of stock, so good for you if you snagged one, unexpectedly. Hope you have fun with it. Yes, because I just picture us in the horse, right, trying to escape. Help. I see. I'm gonna come to your house. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna meet in real life. Ah! Streamers in person. Ah! I hope I'm everything you think. I hope I don't disappoint in person. Ah! We're gonna party respectfully. Absolutely. Ah, there it is. The God of Boy bundles in stock. I guessed it. I guessed it. Oh, none of the others are. Gotcha. Okay. So if you want like the bundle slash theme, I wonder if the PS5 is even themed for it, but there you go. Enjoy the Ragnarok. I've been hearing great things. I won't say anything. I've just been hearing good things. Lots of excitement. Again, not my kind of game, but still can appreciate. Okay. I'm liking that edge now, so I'm going to do the same as usual. I'm just going to add white whenever I'm ready. Add white to that original color I was just using. Get a nice light version going. And if you see me mixing more paint in here, it's just to kind of re-darken a bit. Sometimes I go a little heavy with the white paint and then I'm like, ooh, not that light. So if you see me mixing more red and blue, that's why. I'm just trying to re-darken a bit. And then we're adding below again. Again, being very liberal. If I didn't point out before, it really doesn't matter how far down you go. You know, I could go all the way down with this color because I can always overlap. So if you're ever worried about how far down to go, go a little bit further than you think. Because it's always annoying, in my opinion, to, you know, go a little too high up and then you're left with a gap, right? And you're like, oh, I wish I had more room to, you know, play with my next layer. So just go a little lower than you think and you can always overlap, right? So that's why you can see I'm being very liberal with this. I'm very just slapping this on, not worrying too much about it. It's more about getting the blend and then I can fix up the bottom with the next layer, right? So slap on that new color, blend away. Same thing, just using the same brush. You can see I didn't even wash it off. Just swiping in between those two colors. And again, re-adding color if I need to. If I need to re-add some dark purple to help kind of blend down, I can do that. If I need to re-add white purple, or excuse me, light purple, kind of a white purple though, light purple to blend up, then I can do that as well. So again, don't hesitate to keep playing if you need to. Can't wait. Me too. The time zone adjustment is defo weird. It feels like everyone is asleep when I stream. Oh, wow. Yeah, because I've noticed that your schedule has changed. I honestly, personally haven't been able to tune in quite as much as usual because of it. But, like, I'm sure you're getting, I hope you're getting new people who are more accustomed to your times and time zone. I'm just kind of, like, wondering aloud what the heck I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll figure it out, though. I think I'm going to try and have something similar to what I have going on now, but then maybe add in different days where I'm doing different times. It'll be a work in progress. I'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm sure that move, you don't want to keep the exact same times or else you're going to be up a lot. Or no, you're going to be streaming earlier, I guess. We're going back in time. Weird to think about. Oh, it looks awful. Oh, why is it looking awful, Charlene? What color is this? It's a purple, so I mixed together red and blue. In terms of amounts, you can see I've just been adding more and more blue. I would say at this stage, we're probably about half blue, half red, if you want a little check in there. Probably half blue, half red. Yeah, let me know what else you're not liking about it, and I can absolutely help you. If it's just that color, hopefully you can just keep mixing a little red or a little blue in there to get a nice purple color. And again, you saw me add the white there just so I can keep lightening up. That's just an easy way to lighten up the color on the canvas. Just put a splotch of white on top and you can see blending it out. We'll turn it into that soft purple again. Nice. Loving the color. Thank you, Vonda. Thank you. Lots of nice colors in this one. I'll give another minute, everybody, and then I'll move on to our next layer. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers to go. So we have 3 more, or I guess 2 more kind of blue purples. We have 1 blue, and then we get to like a green color after that. It's a bit of a rebuild, which was tough for sure. Yeah, I just don't know what I'm gonna do. It's something I haven't really thought about. I've just been excited to like do certain things with stream, but the schedule is something I haven't been really solidifying, so that'll be something to do when I get there, I guess. I think it'll take a little bit of feeling out anyway, so maybe it's something I can't really plan for, you know? But yeah, like, for example, these toots, I know I've, I guess at this point, I'm free to an open conversation, everybody, about streaming schedule and upcoming toots. I'm moving 3 time zones away, so I'm going to need to decide if I want to keep the same time for these Sunday tutorials or kind of switch those around. I know 7 p.m. EST seems to work very well for everybody on a Sunday, but again, I'm kind of open to a conversation if anyone does have opinions while we're painting about times that work for them or things you're hoping to see in terms of a schedule. Absolutely let me know. Reminds me of the Blue Ridge Parkway view. So good. Maybe I used that as reference. Maybe I used it as reference. Maybe I've been there and wanted to paint a painting ever since I've been there, and maybe I used it as a reference. I kind of did, very honestly. Not the colors necessarily. That was more me doing those colors. But yes, I was using references of Blue Ridge Parkway. Absolutely. Bun, feel free to ever message about finance rent price decks. I remember it was really... Yeah, I will. Thank you. I've been thankfully doing a lot of homework on it. But if I need like second opinions, I'll definitely hit you up and see what you think about like, is this a ripoff? Is this not? I'm definitely in for a price shock. I'm just kind of preparing for that because I haven't moved in 8 years. So despite what's even happening locally around me, like I'm aware that I'm probably paying super good rent right now. I'm prepared to downsize with an increase in rent. It's gonna suck, but I'll be in a better setting, a better place. It's something I'm willing to do to get to where I want to be. So, hooray! But I will. Thank you, Nads. I do really appreciate it. Okay, let me start you off on the next layer, and then we can keep chatting here. So, same idea. We're mixing red and blue. This time we're going a little more blue heavy. So if you heard me say to Charlene there, this last blue I would say is probably like even red blue mixture. Excuse me, this purple is an even red blue mixture. This purple is going to be heavier on the blue. So it's going to look even darker And when you lighten it, it's going to have more of a blue tone in here. So more blue with some red mixed in there. So on your plate, before you add white, it's going to just look all dark, you know, it's all going to look dark purple, but again, you'll see more of a difference when we start to add the white for the lighter areas in the blending. Okay, so same idea, using that wide brush here, bumping up and down. And you can see this layer in my original, what I chose to do is start a little further down. I'm going to raise it up. I'm actually going to cover this layer and go into that previous purple layer, that second layer. So I create almost like a little mountain peak in a way. Not, again, nothing too drastic here, just a little bit of a soft peak in the middle. And then I come back down. So yeah, some overlap going on. You can see into that other layer. Then just bumping my way down. Not as worried about what's going on over here because I can see the next layer is going to overlap it anyway. So you can see I'll leave that probably a little messier over here, knowing that it'll be covered up. Let me just get some better little bumps here and then I'll do the blend. Make sure ensure your ship. Yes. Oh yes. I'll be very careful about packing everything. I've been trying to do some very secure packing of my boxes. No loose items, hopefully. Yes. Okay, good. Oh, love. Hey, thank you. I guess I could say for the love. Welcome back. Thank you for the water. I should have some water. Thank you. What time zone are you moving to? PST? Going to West Coast, so that's like British Columbia. And that's going to be PST, so it's 3 hours behind what I deal with now. So it's almost 8 o'clock here. It's going to be almost 5 where I'm going. So Nads is like just approaching early dinner time right now. Versus here it is pitch black and very nighttime. Although it is daylight savings, so that's expected even earlier in the day. So yeah, a whole 3 hours, which like isn't a huge difference like for me adjusting, I feel like. Not a huge difference. If anything, it'll be good because I stay up way too late right now. Haha. Everyone just adding white, of course, to my color and swiping below. What was I saying? Yeah, it shouldn't be a hard adjustment for me. It's more just the schedule. I just don't want to disrupt everybody and the schedule they've been used to. But at the same time, it's like I need to adjust it to what I can do as well. So anyway, it'll be tough, but I'll figure it out. So yes, added white to my color. This is the same thing. I am going a little quicker and with a little less instruction, I guess, because it is the same idea over and over. But I added white to my blue purple there, put it below, and I'm now blending up into the darker blue purple. And again, sticking with those nice large strokes to keep things nice and smooth. Just keep playing with it. Sometimes, again, as I said before, it takes a little work to get things nice and smooth, so just keep going. Just go nice and slow, add a little more paint if you need to, or just work with the paint you have on the canvas. Usually that suffices. Yeah, and enjoy just gliding back and forth. It's a really soothing thing, honestly, these nice paintings where we do lots of blending. Just allowing the brush to go back and forth. Not thinking too much about it, just letting it do its thing. Ooh, very nice. Hope you get to visit the ocean. I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will. I'm very excited for all of it, Vonda. Oh, Tazra, I'm so sorry. I actually didn't click the start. Here, let me do that for you. That's so silly. I had the tab up and everything. I need to open a tab for closed captioning and then press start. It should be available now, and I'll type it in chat for those who are reading along here. So sorry. CC should now be on. Might need to refresh. Yes, you might need to refresh to get the closed captioning button available. If you need closed captioning, just simply hover your mouse over my little screen and you'll see a little CC button. Thank you for reminding me, Taz Rabbit. I totally forgot. I had it all prepared and everything. I wish it was more automatic, but the system I use is a little more manual, but it's there now. Yeah, city's mad pricey, but you can leave somewhat farther out. Exactly. That's why I'm like, just so you know, Nads, I haven't like said exact locations to anybody yet, and it's because of that, because I like have hopes and dreams for a spot, but I might have to move like an hour. I don't know. We'll just see. It's going to depend on what's available and how long I'm willing to wait. So, yes, absolutely. It's, yeah, I just don't want to like be like, I'm going here, and then be sorely disappointed when I might not get a spot, you know? Yeah, I have hopes though, I have hopes. Joey, thanks for the official follow. Thank you. I know you've been in chat, but thank you for following. My first orca? Oh, some whale paintings would be so cool, actually. Yeah, that's a great one, Vonda. I don't think I've done a whale or anything like whale specific. I've done a lot of water stuff, but whale is a great idea. Oh, I already did CC. It does not show. Yes, and now it works. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, it may have been there but not working. Appreciate you bringing it up though. Yeah, I always am happy to turn those on. It's just a matter of me remembering, but I do need to be better at just doing that. So thank you. Can you keep buy some toilet paper? Okay. You started this chat by saying you were off to pee, and now you gotta get toilet paper. Prioritizing the bathroom, I appreciate it. Anyway, Nads, thank you for raiding in. You know that we'll chat soon. We'll be heavily in touch. I can't wait to do everything West Coast with you. Good luck on the TP. Yes, we've come full. It's kind of true. It is. It's weird, isn't it? It's weird. Yeah, because I feel like I was talking to you about West Coast before you moved there, so like it's all happening for both of us. Enjoy the TP experience. Goodbye. Thank you again for raiding. Have a good afternoon / evening. Ah. Ah. Love you too. Bye. All right, let's move on to our next step here. We are still in the purples. I know this looks pretty blue, but I promise you this is like a blue purple. It's as close to blue as we can get without being blue. There's a tiny bit of red still in there. The blue is going to be the layer after that. You can see this one here where my mouse is. This is still kind of a purple blue up here. So one more time, we're going to mix red and blue together. This time you're using almost all blue with just a touch of red, just to make that blue change just a little bit. So again, add the red till you see the blue change just a touch, and then you're there. So you can see just a slight difference between my plain blue and this one here that I added a little red to. It should almost appear like darker, which is kind of bizarre to think about, but yeah, to me it appears a little darker. All right, so this is the third last layer here. We've got purple, blue, then green. So we're on like the last, I would say, third of the canvas in terms of where we're putting the tip of our mountain, or the horizon line of our mountain, I guess. I'm going to start it on the left here. I actually might need a little more red. That's looking very blue on my end. So I'm going to add a little more red and then continue, because I want to save the blue for next layer. There we go, a little darker. And same idea, nothing has changed. We're just kind of working our way up. This layer, I would say I'm kind of just mostly going angled upwards like this. So I'm going to leave this peak exposed, and then I'm going to cover up this right-hand side of the remaining layer, of the last layer, excuse me. Same idea, using the wide edge of the brush, just wiggling away. Just need to grab a little more red again. Keep underestimating how much red paint I need here. Again, I want to make sure we're still using a purple. We're not quite using just plain blue. So if you feel like it's coming off like a plain blue, just do as I'm doing. I'm mixing a little more red into my mixture just to get it a little off blue. Again, a little darker almost. It'll look darker. Bringing that, as I said, kind of a little further up here. I like to overlap the previous layer and start to go on top of that second layer behind. Oh, Gray, don't say it! Stop saying that. Don't say that. If we don't say it, it's not true. It's sticking. Oh, it'll melt by tomorrow. It's gonna be warm tomorrow. That's how winter works, right? It's how weather works. It's cold and then it's not. Everything melts. It's fine. Hee hee. Yeah, I'm aware it's snowing. I'm aware it's snowing. Oh man. Keep the panic to a minimum. Alright, same drill as usual. Once you have that layer on, you can add some white. And again, you'll see the color a little better. You'll be able to see if it's more of a blue-purple versus a blue. Again, you can mix more colors in there if you need to alter it. I'm adding a little more red personally. I think I could have gone even further with my red. Test it out. Mix a little more. That's good. All right, same thing. We're just caking that on underneath and then blending up into the previous. Yeah, the 4-letter S word, true. Don't say the S word. Guys, there's no profane language in my chat. Stop saying snow. Stop it. Here's the thing, it's weird for me because I love snow. I'm excited for snow. Like, I'd love snow to be there when I arrive. Just not on the drive. Can it just stay up on this and then just dump when I arrive? That's please. Please. White, yeah. Uh-oh, I love snow as long as it's not on sidewalks. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Like, I love the whole aesthetic of snow. I love snow, like winter sports. I like the cold, you know, I'd much rather be in the cold rather than like stinky summer heat. So I'm a big fan. For those hearing me say no snow, just know that I love the snow, just not when I'm driving, not when I'm doing a long distance trip. I'm now blending, by the way, just same as before, blending in between the two colors by brushing back and forth. So yeah, big fan, just driving, not as much. And winter driving too. I'm not even like that rattled about it. It's just, it can cause problems, it can cause delays. Other people aren't great at winter driving too, and then it causes stress, all the things. Gotta give him a friend. Like I always say, everybody needs a friend. Does that mean 4 rows are for the phthalo blue? So we've got, these are all, it's confusing because like technically these are all red blue mixtures. If you don't want to count this one because it's more of like the pink, I would say we're at number 4, yes. I'll go through them all, how about, and then to make sure we've got it all organized here. So this was red with the tiniest amount of blue, so it comes out more so pink, but it's like a pink purple. This was red with a little bit more blue. This was red and blue even amounts. This was red with a little extra blue in there. And then this was lots of blue with a tiny bit of red. So I kind of switched it there. We're now at lots of blue. So this was our like nice middle here. This was lots of red, a little bit of red, a little bit of blue, lots of blue. However you want to think of it. So yeah, 1, 2, technically 5, but I would say it's more so 4 for the purples right now. Like I wouldn't, this one's a little further away from purple in my opinion. Hopefully that's clear. If you need me to go through any of the others, let me know. But this will be the last layer before just plain blue, yes. Oh, I've already got my tires changed, thankfully. Made sure to go to Costco to do that. Blankies and snacks, I'm sure we'll have those. Absolutely. Yep, all the things. Think I'm doing pretty good. think at the same time, though, I just gotta do it and take any snags or issues as they come. We can only plan so much for certain things. All right, so just leaving 1 more minute, and then we'll go down to this layer. So again, just to be clear, this next layer here is our second last layer. It's going to be plain blue, and this one's going to be getting into our greens here. Oh yes, we're planning on avoiding those. I won't be going on those. The last time I did this move, yes, there was, we went through the mountains, and there was a point where all the cars stopped, and slowly people got out and put chains on their tires, and my mom and I were in the car, and we were like, we don't have chains. We're not wrapping our tires in anything extra. We survived, but that was kind of a scary moment. So we'll probably be doing routes that don't involve those scary passes. We will be doing routes that avoid those scary passes. Not a might. We will be. We do not want to deal with that. Okay. Yeah, that was around a minute. All right, let's go on to that next layer. So again, we are now in the plain blue layer. So finally, no mixing required, except for when we blend, of course. But to start, you can use just your plain blue. And again, I like phthalo blue, Phthalo. That's the blue that I use. If you're getting slightly different purples, slightly different anything that we're mixing with blue, it might just be your blue color that you're using. There's tons of different blues out there. We've got like cobalt blue, ultramarine blue. I've seen some labeled like primary blue, peacock blue. There's just a ton. So yeah, don't fret if things are looking a little different. It might just be the color of blue you have or the color of red. There's like warm versus cool tone reds. But again, I'm always happy to give suggestions. PJ, thanks for following. Hey, we're just in the middle of a step-by-step painting tutorial. Hope you enjoy watching. If you have any questions about painting or what I'm doing, feel free to ask. Otherwise, enjoy. Oh, 4, did I miss movie night? Yeah, that was last night. I'm sorry. We watched Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was very nice. Even though you missed the movie night, I still recommend you go find and watch that movie. I've been talking enough about it. It's like my favorite movie of the last couple years, I would say. I keep saying confidently of the last year, but honestly, I can't think of any that has beat it in the past couple years. So please watch the movie. Yeah, I'll be sure to organize more movie nights once I move. I just won't be able to do that until I move at this point. Oh, and sorry about this mountain. Nothing different. You can see it's quite a flat one, so I'm just kind of doing my little wiggles going all the way across. I'm gonna grab more blue. Which is now getting clogged. Don't explode, please. Good. Greetings from the Philippines. Hey, PJ from the Philippines. Welcome to the chat. How are you doing today? Aaron, I'm gonna stop this one. Not a good night. My colors mountains do not look good. Oh, that's okay, Charlene. If you're not enjoying, absolutely, you can stop and pause and maybe try again another time. I'll, as I keep saying, upload this to YouTube, so you can feel free to try again maybe. Yeah, if there is anything I can help with, let me know, but otherwise it's no worries at all. You do you. Looking forward to see you. Thank you. Yes. And same to you. I'll be online Tuesday. I won't be doing a tutorial, but that'll be my last stream before moving, and then I'll be back online hopefully soon after. Kind of up in the air, but I will be back. Have a good evening. PJ, yes, acrylics. As Asian, that movie hits home. I think it's, yeah, it's really, I know it like follows an Asian family. It there were so many things I could relate to in that movie. It was just full of feelings. I'm glad you appreciate the movie though. Yeah, it was truly is incredible. So many reasons. Such a, especially I watched it for the 3rd time last night, and I found that I was like, the first time I watched it I was more solidly crying, and now I was very much going back and forth between laughing and crying. Because I knew it was kind of coming up at certain points, and I was like anticipating things, and then another thing would happen, I'd be like, oh, back to the crying. Yeah. Amazing stuff though. just visually and story-wise, all of it. All right, there's my blue. I'm gonna do the same thing as usual, mixing more white into my blue. So I get a nice bright light blue. You can see that nice like electric blue kind of peeking through here. Nice like misty color almost. And again, that's what the phthalo blue is gonna get you, this very bright result when you mix white into it. I feel like when the blues are darker, you can't tell as much the difference between all those blues I mentioned, but it's when you add the white or you start mixing, you start to really show yeah, the type of blue you're using here. So here I go with my light blue. You can see how different that is compared to all of our other colors here. How bright it is. How blue it is, because it is blue. Same thing, we're adding below and then blending up into the blue. And again, if you want to be safe, you could even bring this, you know, most of the way down just to make sure you're not leaving gaps, because we only have one layer left. So if you're not sure how high up you want that last layer, you can always bring this light blue further down, ensuring that you're going to cover up all those gaps. Same thing, swiping back and forth. Nice smooth strokes to kind of smooth it all out. Generational trauma handled pretty well. I agree, yes. Which isn't a topic that's really addressed a whole lot too. Yeah, they did a really good mix of like, yeah, keeping it very relatable, serious, but so goofy and creative too. It's just, my gosh. What a great movie. Yeah, only one that I have thought it was like worth seeing. Not like I've been going to the movies a whole lot this year, honestly, but I haven't been motivated to go quite as much. Great at mixing. Thank you. I'll have some water. Gertie, there have been more and more about... Oh, yeah? Oh, I'm missing all of them, apparently. I haven't watched Encanto, I haven't watched Coco. I didn't realize they hit on those subjects. I keep hearing great things about both of those movies, Gertie, and then I'm like, one day, and then I don't watch them. I really need to pay more attention to those ones. Yeah, exactly. I haven't seen either, but I keep hearing amazing things. Maybe this will push me. Yeah, Coco too. Everyone's like, you need to watch that. And for the emotion too. I think that's why I'm kind of avoiding them, because I heard they are criers, even though I just said how much I enjoyed crying through everything everywhere all at once. It was like a therapeutic cry. But I've heard there's some, yeah, heavier sad parts in those, so I keep saying, another day, I'll watch it another day. Anyway, I'll try and keep those in my memory bank for next time I'm looking for a movie. I've been meaning to watch them regardless. Yeah, not by any means a Disney adult, Disney person in general. Man, those movies hit hard. Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Like, I don't, you know, dislike Disney. I grew up with Disney, but I'm not, like, super into them now. James, wow, watch them. Hey, have you seen both? Do you guys have a favorite between the two so I can start with one? Welcome, James. It's really good to see you. Thanks for the Prime sub. My gosh, it's an honor. Thank you, thank you. Fellow Fleshy, hello. How have you been? Yeah, do you have one of those that you'd recommend out of the two? So I've decided not to procreate because of my really? Coco and Encanto. No idea what movies... Oh, you just said watch them. It was Encanto and Coco. And I was talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once. So between the three movies. So you're out here just giving demands to watch movies that you don't know. You don't know at all. My goodness. Okay, I'm gonna move us on to the last layer here, everybody. And then we have to go back up here to do our clouds, because this part is nice and dry now, so we can add our clouds. So we'll do one last layer. We're going to do just some minor, we're going to leave the details. We're just going to do the one layer here. In terms of the little trees you see, in terms of the nice light greens you see, we're going to leave those. We're just going to stick down a nice dark green to begin with, okay? So nice simple layer, and then we'll go back for the details. So I'm using the same large brush. I'm mixing together lots of blue with just a little yellow. So again, it's kind of like before. We're technically making a green, but it's going to be a very deep kind of blue green. I guess I would say similar to what we were doing up here. We're making purples, but blue purples or red purples. We're now going to make a blue green. I just need more blue. Where did that go? There it is. So mixing together again, lots of blue, little bit of yellow. So it's almost like a nice deep teal, I would say. Okay. Chat, I'll be right with you. Gotta do some mixing. Big blob of blue, little blob of yellow. So again, just right when you start to see it turning green, then you're good to go. Like a nice deep green. Here it is there. Very dark. All right. And with this step, I would say you can be a little more loose. You don't need to get these nice, like, clean peaks going on because we will be adding some trees along the tops of this layer here. So for now, you can just kind of quickly swipe across, honestly. You don't need to worry about getting all these nice, clean features along the top. I'm just doing more of like a wavy top for now, just trying to get my green to overlap with that blue. Haven't seen them. Paint's pretty dope. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks very much. I was happy, very happy with the color palette on this one. Very fun. They're both very good. I think Coco really immerses into the culture a bit more, feels more natural. Pixar made that one. Pixar better in general. Both movies are amazing introductions. Okay, all right. So slightly leaning Coco, but yeah, sounds like for different reasons and whatnot. Cool, thank you, Gertie. Oh yeah, I saw a sunset similar to this in Colorado. Colors are the same and the fog made it so beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, fog is one thing I didn't incorporate into this, and I feel like I could have based on the photos I was using. There's like always seemingly some like fog almost creeping up. I guess that's what I was trying to do with these transitions, to make it lighter on the way down rather than dark. But yeah, I kind of wish maybe next time I can do one that's foggier, because I agree it's a really cool aspect. Legit, hey, unfortunately I have to go. Hopefully this video is left on your channel. It will be, yes. Thanks for the session. Absolutely. I've enjoyed this experience. Everyone is sharing the love for art. Thanks, legitimate. That was really nice. Legit to menace. Very good, very good. I appreciate those words. Yes, it will be up later to watch. It will be on YouTube even later than that, but if you'd like to come back to Twitch, if you're familiar with Twitch, you can just watch the VOD. It'll stay up and will be available when I'm done here. Oops, I tried to get that bottom edge, but I couldn't. But yes, have a good night. No worries that you can't stay. I'm just glad that you enjoyed. Absolutely. All right. I need to grab a little more yellow and mix a little bit better here. So you can see what's happening is my green is just mixing into the blue of the previous layer a little too much, and I just want to make sure I'm getting a nice very dark layer of this green. So if that's happening to you, I'm just mixing more color, more of that dark, very teal dark green, so that I could stick it on top of that blue. Rally, thanks for following. Wait, oh! It is the... okay. Hey, Rally, welcome back. I was gonna say, I know a Rally, but that wouldn't have been a first-time follow, so it is Rally we know. Welcome back, hey. I'm just gonna concentrate on this for a second because I am needing to get this on top of my blue, and then I'll keep chatting with chat here. So again, if I didn't explain that properly, what's happening is because I'm working on a wet background, because of that light blue, you can see it kind of shows through a bit. And that's because I'm pressing very hard. And you can see the bristles kind of wipe away the new color. So I'm just going to be lightly adding this color on top. I'm trying to use less pressure. Just kind of lay it on top. And the more I do that, the more it'll kind of come through. And I'm just re-dipping, you can see, into my green as I do that. Really trying to get a thick amount of paint on here to cover up that blue layer. Alternatively, if it's still giving you trouble, sometimes I find it helps to like wipe away some of the previous layers. So taking a paper towel, and if this layer, if this area is causing me issues, I'll just take a paper towel and swipe a little bit so it gets rid of the wet paint below, and then you can paint on a dry surface again. Sometimes it can just be a little frustrating doing the wet on wet layering. And that's how you can prevent and fix it. Almost done. I just want to bring this up a little higher and then we can move up to the clouds before coming back down. I was doing some digital art and appeared when I heard I see generational trauma. I got you. Oh, and the other thing about Encanto introduces muscular women. Hey, which isn't very popular with Disney. Yes, yes. I see you, since all the women have snap. I agree. Body representation. All for that. All for that. And you said that was Encanto. Okay. Good. Many good themes. Yeah, I feel like Disney has been doing a little better at that as well. Just hitting on more relevant themes, I mean, and not rolling into stereotypes all the time, you know? They could still be doing better, but I can see them improving a little bit. So that's good to hear. Almost there, everybody. I just want to bring this up a little higher. I just like having my last layer a little bit higher up so I have more room to play in this green, because you can see how I add some nice like highlighted green shades in there. So I want to make sure there's room for all of that. Much better. All right. Maybe I'll give everyone an extra minute in case anybody was working on that portion, kind of struggling with what I was struggling with, and then I'll move you up to the clouds before coming back down here. Have you been doing the... I haven't been doing the edges. I honestly completely forgot. A little late. I'll mention, I guess, just in case here, because it is a good point, Gray. Thank you. For those using a canvas, I should have been doing this as I was painting, but you can see I have this blank edge here. I usually recommend and or suggest you kind of carry the colors to the side as you go along. I honestly totally forgot this time around, so I'm sorry. But if you're liking this painting and when you're all done you want to keep just kind of messing around with those edges, you could recreate some colors, match them up. You could use one color to kind of clean up all the edges as well. That works as well. But yeah, don't forget about those edges like I did. Learn from me, learn from my mistakes, allow those edges to shine with some paint as well. Carol, thank you for following and welcome in. I'm just doing a painting tutorial right now. If you have any questions, let me know. Oh, hey, you do have a question. Where do you get your large containers of paint? I get them from Curry's Art Store. Curry's Art Store, I believe they're Canada-wide. If not, definitely many locations in Ontario, and they ship online. Curry's is spelled C-U-R-R-Y-S, I believe. Before I definitively say that, let me check. And this is the label in case you want it. It's the Start Academic Acrylic. Yeah. Curry's with a Y. And I get it because it's very affordable. It's like $19 for an entire 2 liters of paint. I've seen small tubes of paint go for that amount. And yeah, they are like a more of an academic acrylic, so that means they're a little bit thinner, but honestly I like them just the same. I've just become used to using them, and I see no difference. Well, I see a difference, but no difference in terms of what I'm able to create. I'm aware that there are thicker paints, but I actually like the thinner ones sometimes. Yeah, no worries, Carol. If I can help you with any other supply questions or anything at all, absolutely let me know. Rally, sorry, not to skip over you there. Yes, sorry, I created an account. The old one had to go for reasons. No need to explain. It's all good. It's more just for me to know, like, who I'm speaking to. So again, welcome back. I'm glad I can say welcome back. Yeah, no worries. I understand sometimes we need to change accounts for reasons. It's all good. You're good here. Oh, Vonda, if you are still interested, you can do that soon if you'd like, but again, no pressure. Just want to make sure you know. I'm getting closer to the end here though. I've got some clouds and then the bottom to do here. Speaking of the clouds, let's get into the clouds for those painting along here. Just to show you with my mouse, you can see these nice purple, fluffy little clouds up here. I just did a couple just to kind of fill up the sky with something. And I wanted to offset like the very like color. I wanted just a little bit of overlap of maybe a different color on top. So that's why I chose to do the purple clouds. If you'd like to leave them out or add something else, you're more than welcome to do that. But otherwise, I'll show you how I did these clouds right now. First of all, I switched brushes for the first time ever in this painting. I'm now using the medium round brush officially. I'll be using this to apply the purple and make these nice little fluffy clouds here. All right, I'm going to my plate and I'm mixing together a purple. In terms of what purple, I think I'm aiming for the second purple we made. or first, depending on if you consider this purple. I don't really. I guess it's our first purple. This purple here, the second layer, I should say. Second mountain layer. So for those who don't remember, that was by mixing lots of red with a little bit of blue. More than a smidgen of blue, but not a whole lot. This was like a smidgen of blue, this was a little more blue. So I would say this is like a red toned purple, or a warmer purple almost. That here. See, almost you can see it contrasted to the blue. But again, make whatever purple you like. It's more important you're getting a nice color that you enjoy as well. That's why I chose this one, because I enjoy this color the most. All right, once I have that color mixed, I'm actually quickly washing off my brush just because it was very thick with paint. So I washed it off. I'm grabbing a little more color now that it's all mixed. I can apply it a little lighter to my brush rather than scooping it all up. And I'm going to start by doing just a horizontal line. So you can see my clouds have more of like a flat bottom to make them look a little wispy. So let's start with that. I'll actually start with this cloud over here so you can really see it. So just kind of wisping my brush back and forth, kind of using the tip of it, applying light pressure, left and right, left and right. So you get these very soft edges here, these little thin tips, and more of a solid bottom. Scott tries this out, trying to use acrylics and the thickness really got. Oh yeah? Who is that? I'm not sure I recognize that name. Is he like a YouTuber or artist? Hey Tina, thank you. Beautiful painting as usual. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Always makes me happy to hear that people enjoy the tutorial designs. All right, so I've got a flat cloud bottom, and you saw I was kind of starting to do this motion, this circular motion. That's what I'll be using to create the fluffiness of the clouds. So I'm going to start on the left-hand side here. I'm going to slowly do these small circular motions as I move my brush a little bit further up, kind of on an angle. So you can see I started nice and low, and then I'm circular motions going up like this, and then I'll come back down. Then I'll go back up, and then I'll come back down. So you can see what's happened is I've created this like bumpy top layer here. A little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up. So I'm trying to make it so that these nice round curves really show through. Shaq, welcome in. The Shaq is here, everybody. Welcome in. Thank you for following. I appreciate it. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, let me know. So very lightly, small circular motions, just bumping up and down, trying to create this kind of up and down overall look here. There's many little bumps and lumps in between, but still mostly going up and down. And I was trying to aim for the end of my horizontal line, but I overshot it a bit. So if that happens, that's okay. Just bring the horizontal line out a bit more so you can kind of blend into and disappear into that nice flat edge there. Just filling in by doing circular motions. It's pretty basic for the cloud. I'm going to do one more thing to get a little bit of highlight on here, but that's pretty much it. Just trying to focus on that general shape. Of course, clouds have many different shapes and sizes, but I personally like the more wispy kind of bottom with the fluffy top. So that's what I went with. You can, of course, alter the shape a little if you need to, or try something a little different. But basically, I start with that. And then what I like to do is dot in just a tiny bit of white. I'm actually going to use even less. I dot it right into the purple, kind of right along the tops. And then after wiping my brush, I just kind of either tap or do more circular motions to blend the white in. So it gives just a little bit of a highlight along the top. Just adds a little more of a bright purple as well to make it, yeah, just a nice contrast between that and the dark purple. So just kind of blending in either by, again, tapping or using circular motions. And I know the light's kind of hitting it funny, but there it is. You can kind of see a brighter purple on top. I'm just going to cake on a little more dark purple, and then I'll do another cloud or two. Same thing, same thing. All right, let me read some chat messages. I'm just going to clean up this cloud, then I'll re-instruct another cloud just in case anyone missed it. I'll do it another time, a better blue. Yes, no worries. Hope move goes well. Thank you, thank you. Absolutely, Charlene, thank you. Gertie says Scott is possibly the most wholesome artist on YouTube. He does mostly watercolor. I've seen him do gouache. Ooh, sounds like an artist I should follow. I'm gonna copy paste that name. Scott something something something. He had a long name. There we go. Thank you. That's going up in another tab. I don't follow a lot of YouTube artists, and I'm always looking for recommendations. Joey, I've thoroughly enjoyed this painting. It's so beautiful. A year ago when I early retired, I began painting again after 30-year hiatus. So I've been watching other artists' toots to learn modernized techniques. I definitely enjoy watching yours far more. Hey, thank you, Joey. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you're finding a lot of resources online. I don't want to say the pandemic was a good thing at all, but honestly, if there was one good thing, I think online content really has flourished because of the pandemic. So I'm really happy that you've been able to kind of re-explore that after, you said 30 years? Yeah, 30, my gosh. That's really exciting. That's really, really cool. You now have a new hobby for your early retirement. That's really, really nice. But yeah, I'm really glad that you've been enjoying. I hope I'm, yeah, I just hope I continue to provide value that way. And I've been settling more on the idea of, like, I'm obviously teaching techniques and teaching in general, but overall, as long as people are painting and having fun with it, that's all my goal is right now. It's just getting people to paint and enjoy something new, you know? And even if it's not painting, something creative, something in the traditional art world or non-traditional, digital as well. Don't want to hate on digital. I'm just more familiar with traditional, so that's where I focus. But yeah, hobbies in general, any creativity, any kind of losing yourself in that kind of flow state of creating is really, really beneficial. So I'm just so glad you've been doing that again. He's a bit older, very accepting LGBT, other cultures, rare for people. I would agree, rare for people his age. I think that's why people like him. Cool. Wholesome in general is always a good thing, but always a plus 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 when openly accepting like that. So that's great. Yeah, he's up in a new tab. I'll probably subscribe a little later after I check out some of his content. Okay, I've been adding in a small little cloud on the side just as I've been chatting here. It was using the same technique. I was doing the horizontal line and then the fluffy bits up top. I'll do another tiny cloud over here and I'll verbalize what I'm doing. I was kind of caught up in chatting there. So let me finish this guy and then I'll do one more on the side in case anyone needs me to repeat the verbal instructions. There we go. All right, so I'm starting with my purple. Again, that second layer purple. Doing a little horizontal line for the bottom of the cloud, just wisping my brush back and forth. When I say wisping, I'm just meaning that I use a small amount of pressure. I'm trying to let it just graze across, and that's why you get this kind of dry texture here. That's kind of the paint just scraping off of the brush as I go. So it's not coming off in a big solid blob for a nice clean line. You want it to be kind of dotted like that there. More paint. I'm going to start just past the edge here. Circular motions bumping up and down, up and down, up and down. And filling in. This guy's a little bit of a thicker cloud, which I enjoy. A little taller, a little larger. And then last but not least, I just take a tiny bit of white, dot it on top. And I can dot it on top again because the purple is still wet. If it were dry, we wouldn't want to do this. We'd want to create a new color and just pop it on top, but because the purple's fresh, we can just blend the white in by either tapping or doing circular motions, and that gives a little soft highlight on top. And that's all. And again, I'll remind you, clouds come in lots of different shapes. I just find this shape is pretty safe to kind of work with, or at least to have as a goal. And then again, you can alter the clouds if you want to. If you can make them a little bigger, wider, add tiny little clouds around. Sometimes for clouds, I even just do the wisping part. I won't even do the fluffy top. I'll just do some like wispy light colors, and it makes it look like the clouds are kind of flowing a little bit faster. Just a light little layer in the sky. All right, I made him a little bigger just so you can see, but in my original you can see it's very, very small on the side. All right, I'll give a minute or two for that, and then we can clean up the bottom area here. We have a couple details. Let me see. Oh, Vonda, did it come through? I don't think so. I don't see an alert here. I'll check my email, but usually I get a text immediately, so let me check. I'm sorry, I don't see anything in the email, so I'm gonna guess that's a no. If you'd like to try again, feel free. If not, again, no worries, no pressure. I know sometimes the app doesn't work as well, but usually there's a little message that says it's down, so no trouble if it's not working. Okay, no worries. All right. So let me talk about the last layer here. I'll just again give a little time for those maybe working on clouds and such. There, you can see those highlights in there. And I'll zoom you in down here. Okay, so down here you can see this is our like dark green layer in here. What I'll want to do first is teach you these little trees just so we can get some details all along that layer closest to us, because again, the bottom layers are going to be closer to us perspective-wise, so I figured it would be nice to add just small indications of trees, because again, closer to us means we'll see a little more detail. So we can slowly get through these little trees. I promise they're very easy because they're so small. We're just going to be tapping our tiny brush, making little triangular shapes. And then down here, all I did here is create a little bit of a lighter green, so lighter than just adding white into our existing green that we had. And then I tapped my brush. So this is a little different. Instead of blending, a nice smooth blend like before, I did some tapping to make it look like maybe layers of bushes or just like treetops kind of thing, all blending into the dark green so you get a nice highlight on top. All right, I'll zoom you back out and we can zoom in again if we need to. But again, just so you can see perspective on how small this is, right? We don't need to worry about all the teeny tiny details. Okay. So I'm going to use my tiny brush, my little detail brush, small round brush. Many names for this brush apparently. And I'm just going to dip into my previous color. So as a, oh, I saw it come through there, Vonda, thank you. I got a text and you see that little alert. Thank you very much. Okay, and I'm using lots of blue with a little bit of yellow in case anybody needs to, remake that color. Japril, JPRIL, thank you for following. Missed you there. Okay, so I've got that color on here. And what I start with, I'm just going to start randomly. You can start wherever you want on this layer. I'm just starting with one vertical line going up, a very small one. Again, these are all very small, delicate trees. So one small little line. And then using my brush, I'm just going to tap. So I'm just going on and off the canvas like this. Tap, 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 tap. I'm going to tap a little right at the top. And then as I get further down, I'm going to start to tap my brush and move it a little left and right. So that I'm creating like indications of little branches and overall just a shape that's more triangular like a tree. And that's pretty much all. This is so small that we don't need to worry about like cleaning up the tree or doing all the other little steps that I usually teach when making trees like this. It's so small that we don't need to do that. I'm noticing though it's very small on the screen, so I might try and zoom you in and do that once or twice more. See if I can handle that here. Give me a sec, I'll adjust it. Holly, I find it hilarious. Oh, that it should be looking like yours. Is yours not working out? Of course, they're always going to be a little bit different. I always say that. Even mine will be a little different from the original. Whoop. And that's kind of the idea, honestly. Like, obviously, I'm trying to teach step by step to get something at least close to what I have. But in the end, it's going to be honestly impossible to replicate exactly. And I try and remind myself of that too, because I go through the same thing when I'm trying to make my painting or replicate it. Again, I'm just going to adjust the brightness and then I'll go for it again. But either way, if you're having a good time, that's all I care about. If you're laughing away as you do this, that's fine. That's fine. even if it ends up being nothing like mine. As long as you're enjoying the process, even if the outcome isn't like exactly what you want, obviously I want to be able to try and get you there. But more importantly, I think, is that you're doing it. You're painting and you're hopefully having a good time as well. So I can appreciate the notion. All right, I apologize it's a little dark, but I think this is better than what I had here. So let's try that again. I'm just going to do a vertical line with my teeny tiny brush. You can see the line does not need to be the thinnest line ever because it will be covered up anyway. And then what I do is I tap my brush. So I'm tapping a little at the top, tap, 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 tap. I'm moving down the line. I'm going to keep tapping while also moving my brush left and right, left and right, left and right. And you can see that's our little tree. Again, don't worry if it looks a little messy, it doesn't look perfect. That's the idea. These are all going to be just very teeny tiny little guys, so it's very hard to even add detail, even if we wanted to, just because they're so small. But again, the idea that they're in the distance means that naturally, even if we're like viewing this in real life, they'd be kind of hazy, they'd be kind of messy looking, right? They're not going to be perfect trees because they're so far away. So as long as we're just getting those little indications, those little peaks, that's perfect. And you do not need to cover every square inch of this layer with trees. You can see in my original there, I definitely didn't do that. You can just even fill in with some like little taps of your brush to make it look like some very tips of the trees are kind of showing up, you know? Just so it's not a very smooth layer in between all those trees. So just tapping your brush even gives a little bit of extra texture there, a little bit of extra detail. I tried the pulled pork first, but that didn't work, so I got noodle. Oh, thank you! Oh, I really appreciate it. I saw it said comfort foods, and again, it's been so long that since I've altered that little menu, I didn't even know what that meant, but I do appreciate it, Vonda. Thanks so much. That'll be really nice to look forward to when I'm done. I think it also depends, Vonda, if the restaurant is like open, so it could have just been that issue as well, so don't worry. If you see any other extra charges though on your account, absolutely let me know. But I'm 99% sure that first one didn't go through. Okay, I'm just gonna zoom you out just for the sake of brightness. I feel like it's very dark when I zoom in, so let me fix that. Woo! You almost got a preview of my feet. That wouldn't have been nice. Those are mine. No socks today. All right, there we go. I'll continue adding these trees and chatting. If anyone has questions about the trees or I can help out further, absolutely let me know. But this step will take a little bit of time just to kind of fill up. Holly, yes I am. Thanks. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, truly, I'm being serious. That's my one goal. I really concentrated before on getting people to make exact replicas, and the more I've done this, the more I've kind of decided that it's really not about that. It's just about having a good time, you know? And I've tried to incorporate that when I'm painting too, right? Because we can all get caught up in the final result and, you know, it's not what I expected. And the more I paint, the more I learn it's never going to be what you expect. It's always going to be a little different. And it's just about kind of having a good time doing it and managing those differences as they come, those challenges as they come. Yeah. One day they'll show up on WikiFeet, you know? Ah! I just painted my microphone a bit. I'll know I've made it when I'm on WikiFeet, okay? Let's just say that. I'm not manifesting this at all. I don't want to be on that site, but if I ever end up on there, I'll be like, wow, somebody cared enough to snatch up a photo of my feet and stick it on that site and make a profile. I'll be like, wow, I've really done something here. One day, Gertie, one day. 5-year plan, 5-year plan. People ask, what are your long-term goals? I'd be like, WikiFeet is my long-term goal. Interviewing for a job. Yeah, I'd really like to end up on this one website. I've done a pretty good job at concealing them, so that would be the other thing. It would be impressive for someone to get a little snapshot at this point. Not that it's a challenge. Okay, I might make a couple trees that are a little bigger just so I can see them. And again, if you want to change up these trees at all, feel free. Make some a little bigger. Make just a couple if you want to. You don't need to make all the ones I'm making. Again, really just even tapping your brush is a nice effect to get like the little tip tops, you know? Because keep in mind, it's not like the trees rest on the horizon line, right? They're all coming in here too. Like we can't see them, but all the trees are in here. So you might see small tips of trees that are just beginning, right? You can think of it that way. You already did, I know. You felt, where was that? I forget where that was. It was in like an Insta story or something, so it's gone. Haha. I think that was right, Gray? When I did the, it wasn't a reel or anything. I just made like a little paint along with me. Yes. And there was one point where you can see my foot jolt into frame because I was doing time lapses. So it goes like, boop, boop. Oh man. So Gray's lucky enough. Yes, it is. Yeah, I don't mean to say it's a challenge, but it kind of is, I guess. I just wouldn't want to encourage people watching the stream at a chance to glimpse at my feet, I guess. That's all. That's all. Hey Trout, good to see you. Hope you're well. Been a good day. Good. I'm glad. Gonna lurk. Absolutely. Thanks for being here. We're just finishing up our toot painting, just so you have some context here. So I'm doing the whole teaching thing this time. Right, and even if you can't really see the trees on top of the blue, like you can see here, they're all, you know, a little harder to see. I would still add them. I'm sure on your painting you could still see small indications, even if it's just through the texture of your paint and not necessarily the color. It's still nice to have that nice texture that your brush leaves behind with the paint, even if the paint color isn't really popping off like it does down here. And I dislike feet too, so of all people, yeah, true. I was alarmed. I was like, what? I couldn't have. I've been trying so hard. When will this be posted, Charlene? So, technically you can come back to Twitch right after I'm done, like in the next 20 minutes, and you can view it on Twitch. I'm hoping to have this posted in the next week on YouTube as usual, but keeping in mind I have a very busy week ahead, and it's possible that it won't be posted in a week. But it'll either way, it will be posted eventually. I always save the video to ensure that I have it on hand. So yeah, I would hope in the next week, but it might be a little longer. Fun redeem for feet reveal. Just kidding, don't. I actually don't know if Twitch would allow that. I don't know. They have funny rules in terms of like feet and redemptions that way. So honestly, I don't think I will. Erin's paintings look nice online, but I saw one in person. It's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Maybe I'll leave one more minute for the trees, everybody. I see we're getting up to 9 o'clock here, so just to stay in that 2-hour time frame, I'll finish up with this last step here and then a couple things after that to kind of close up the event. Yeah, no worries. Take your time finding some, Charlene. Again, Curry's Art Store is where I get my phthalo blue paint from Start Academic Acrylic, and that's how I get all these nice bright blues and stuff. Yeah, Gertie, their rules are so inconsistent, so I like try not to understand them. I just try and follow them. Yeah, but I'm sure it was something like that. Something happened and they said no more. I don't know. I'm not sure. What about Michael's? I'm sure they have phthalo blue. I just don't think they carry the Start Academic Acrylic paint. They'll have lots of other brands, though, especially Michael's. Lots of brands. And I know phthalo blue is, of course, not specific to this brand. It's a general, general paint color, general shade of blue. So you should be able to find a an alternative there for sure. All right, let me do this last step for everybody here. We can all paint along and I'll keep chatting as we do it. So last step, as I described, is kind of adding just some texture here, some indications of like maybe layers of bush, layers of trees, whatever it may be, but just getting some texture and highlights into this last layer so it's not just like a deep dark layer. We want to get some fun details going on. So I have some of my green left over. I'm just adding, of course, a little bit of white to it. If you need to remix the green, that was lots of blue with a little bit of yellow. I might actually add a little more paint there so I can get more of this color. But what I'm aiming for is a light version of that. So again, it won't be like a Kelly green or a grass green or something like that. You can see it's going to be more of like a blue leaning green. Maybe you can consider it like a teal almost. But yeah, not your traditional grass green. It's not a very bright green. It's a little more subdued, I would say. And all I'm doing with my medium brush, I guess I should say I did switch to my medium round brush. We were just using the detail brush, but I've switched here. All I'm doing is I'm going to dot that, tap that into the dark green, and it's going to show up very, you can see very bold to begin with because I am tapping on top of a dry surface. But once I get some of this lighter green on, I'm going to re-grab my dark green and tap around this to kind of blend it out. So don't worry for now if it's looking a little bit funny. I'm just applying this color first so that I can play with it after. So I'm just tapping it on here. It's almost like I'm almost creating the top of a cloud. I'm kind of tapping up and then tapping down, tapping up, tapping down, just creating very random indications of bumps in this layer. Or even just tapping in a line is fine as well. Anything like that. Just a couple like strips, more than a couple, but you can see strips or bumps of this tapped on paint. I'll give a quick minute for you to add that while I also mix together more of my dark green here because I'm missing it now. So again, I'm just remixing lots of blue with a little yellow here. Tiki, hey, welcome in. Good to see you. All right, so again, I have that light green that I just kind of sporadically dotted on here. Now to blend it in a little bit better to make it look a little more like my original, I'm grabbing a little bit of the dark green that we started with. So the lots of blue, little bit of yellow mixture. And I'm going to start tapping that around this paint color. So it's going to start to blend it out a little bit, make it look like it's a little more, yeah, it's blending a little bit more with the dark green, a little bit better of a transition between the two. So again, just very messily tapping above and below this color just to help blend it away. So again, dark green, tap, 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 tap. So pretty much all we're doing is we're mixing the two wet paint colors together. It's just another way to kind of blend by tapping together rather than swiping back and forth because we don't want the smoothness this time. We want all this nice texture. So we're still using the same idea of blending. We're just blending in a different way. So using that dark green just to, again, move that light green around a bit and help it disappear a little bit. We're trying to get rid of a little bit of it as we tap around here. So yeah, again, I'm not necessarily making any specific shapes or like following a pattern of where the hills are or anything. I'm just kind of using this up and down method to make it look like there's small indication of bumps or treetops. But I'm not trying to shape anything very specific from it, if that's making sense there. Ah, thank you, Vray. I will. And the fun part about this step is you can play, yeah, as much as you like with kind of blending those colors around. You can re-add the darker green, or continue to add it because that's what we're doing now. You can continue to add that. You can go back to the lighter green if you need to, and really just play around with it. Ah, thank you. So I'm just going to continue adding that dark green, as I said, tapping around and into the lighter green. And you'll start to notice the more you tap, the more you kind of mix, the softer things will get. If you like more of a contrast and more of like the really bright, you know, light green on top, tapping on top, then you won't want to blend as much. You won't want to tap around as much. You'll just want to kind of leave those light areas the way they are so that they really pop off and stay nice and bright compared to the other colors. So for example, I'm re-adding a little bit of light green here, and I'll probably just leave this where I'm putting it so that I don't blend it away. I want to keep, you can see some lighter areas really shining through. Using different pressures of tapping allow, you can see a little bit of a different outcome. I'm tapping a little lighter this time, and you can see, of course, less paint is coming off. It's coming off a little more textured again. It's not as blobby. That's because your bristles are all kind of spreading apart and touching less of the canvas, so you get more of these like little spaces in between. So yeah, play around with that, the amount of pressure you're using, the amount of paint you're using as well. So I wanted to mention while everyone's still here, I'm still I'm still kind of deciding if I'm going to do some sort of a sale, some sort of a painting sale. Again, because I'm moving, I unfortunately will not be able to bring a good chunk of my paintings with me. So I have a lot of paintings similar to this one, you know, that I have instructed before. I have kind of like the clean version and then this other version here. And I'm trying to find a way to maybe get those into some hands who might enjoy them versus, you know, I don't want to obviously dispose of these, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I have stacks of these paintings. So just want to throw it out there. If I do end up doing something, I'll be announcing it in the next couple of days. I think the main areas I'll be announcing is on Facebook and in Discord. So if you are involved in either of those communities, then you will not miss out on any announcements regarding those ideas, I should say. And again, the next couple days. So if you don't see anything, you can assume that I'm not doing a painting sale or something like that. If you see something, then you'll know all the details about it. But yeah, if that interests you, just keep an eye out. I have lots and lots of paintings that I need to figure out, you know, where they're going. So I might be doing a variety of things, a sale and other things as well. But either way, it's still not confirmed. I'm sorry. It's kind of just dependent on how much time I have. Yeah, in the next couple days even. I need to like make sure I got all the mandatory things in order before I can think about organizing a sale or anything like that. So just know I'll announce it in the next couple days if that's happening, because I know I've talked about it before. I'm really hoping I can get it to work so that, again, I can organize getting some paintings at a discounted price to some people who have maybe been waiting for that, because I've never really had a sale on my website. It's been live for a year now, and it's kind of just been there with the same prices. I don't really participate in sales too much, like traditional, you know, sales throughout the year. But yeah, I might be putting together somewhat of a moving sale. So if you're interested in looking at what I have available, it's all still on my website. My website is still open with all the regular prices. And we'll see if I can get some discounted prices available as well. Anyway, just wanted to throw that out there in case anyone had been looking for something like that, waiting for something like that from me. You might see that in the next couple days. For a very short period of time too, because I can't unfortunately run the sale after I've moved. I need to end the sale before I move so I can ship everything out and then move. So it will be a short one, but I'll do my best at notifying wherever I can if that happens. Facebook and Discord. Oh, Petrie, I packed on too much paint on my fat brush and left ridges in the darkest color of paint, then it didn't blend well. Oh, maybe I can try this painting again in a month's time. Oh, and your growing pains. Oh no. I see what you're saying. So it was like, it kind of picked up almost the dark color In my opinion, you could still alter that. You could still grab some dark color and kind of pile it on. You can kind of just, instead of stippling like I am, just using a thick amount of paint to blend those two in. Just so you know, I feel like it can still be saved. But Peachtree, yeah, if you're feeling like you've done the painting, you've learned what you've wanted to learn, and you're like, I'll do better next time, that's always fine too. If you feel like you've had a good time and you're like, next time I know what I need to do, then you're good to go. That's it's good to just learn anything, even if it's not the result that you wanted. You're just learning for the next time as well, and it means you keep painting, which is good. Koya, hey, welcome in. Hello. Yeah, exactly. As Vonda says, we learn with each step. Yeah, with each painting, you kind of learn something different, and you get to understand how to incorporate it into your next painting, and you just learn what works for you too, right? Like what I'm doing, again, might not work for you, and you might discover a different thing to do. So yeah, it all allows for that, for sure. Okay, with all of that being said, oh wow, it's exactly like 9:01, 1 minute overtime. That is the last step of the painting. So if you're all done, I always give a reminder / recommendation to sign your painting. It always just kind of finishes it all up, in my opinion, to do a little signature in the bottom corner. You're an artist now, you've done a painting, you can do initials or a symbol or whatever you want. Sometimes I paint a little bun in the corner of mine. Well, I always do. And yeah, it's that'll finish it off. Hopefully signing it'll kind of allow you to stop painting and enjoy what you've made, because sometimes we do have to make that call where we're like, all right, we can't keep fiddling with it. We gotta enjoy what we have here and finish the piece. And like everyone's saying, we can always try it again another time, or try a different piece with similar aspects and learn from each try. So there you go, completed painting. So I'll do a couple little house cleaning announcements, and then, as I said, I'm happy to hang out and answer any questions or just chat a little bit before I end the Twitch stream itself. But I'll just say my wrap-up announcements now for the YouTube video that I post. So as usual, thanks for coming, everybody. For those brand new tonight especially, always good to see new faces in the chat. Sammy, welcome in. Hey. Yeah, honestly, it still blows my mind that I'm finding new people. I've been doing this for over 2 years online now, and it's so pleasing to hear that like people still find me in different corners of the internet and make their way here to chat with me live. I just think it's super special to be able to talk with everybody live as I do it on Twitch. So thank you for coming to check it out today, especially if it's your first experience on Twitch, a new area of the internet. I promise it's not scary. I promise it's easier than you think. I'm just glad you're here and you can enjoy more painting streams and content from me. If you're looking for another free step-by-step tutorial, I don't have one scheduled right now because I am moving. Once I move and once I get settled and kind of figure out my upcoming schedule, I will post another free tutorial. I would suspect you won't see that till January. Like, I'll probably post it in December for planning for January. So if you don't hear from me for a couple weeks on that, that's why. But just know I am continuing the free tutorials as long as I can, as much as I can. So you will expect more probably in the new year at this point. Otherwise, if you're interested in my Twitch streams, I will be doing one more Twitch stream this Tuesday, so that's 2 days from now. I'll just be painting a painting. That's usually what I do on Twitch streams. I usually just do some sort of artwork. I'm not necessarily teaching step by step, but I'm happy to talk and answer questions about painting in general. So I'll be doing that Tuesday, and then I'll be pausing Twitch streams as well while I move, probably for a couple weeks. I hope to be back up and running by 1 or 2 weeks into December. It all depends on how quickly I can find a home to live in, honestly. So yeah, I'm sorry it's not as definitive, but I'll be sure to update as many platforms as possible when I'm leaving, and then when I'm, you know, getting settled, and then when I'm officially back online. So hopefully lots of updates coming that way. Thank you, Gray. And those are all my socials. It's always good to good to know too. For those who are unaware of where to find those announcements or where to find me, I would say Facebook is best for those announcements, as well as Discord for those who are familiar with Discord. Otherwise, yeah, Instagram, YouTube, you'll see some updates from me. Twitter, I don't use, but I still have it there. And then that's just my Pinterest page too. Anyway, follow me wherever you want to follow, whatever platforms work for you. It's erinbunpaints pretty much everywhere. And then again, I'll be uploading this to YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube right now, hello, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Probably in the next week or so, I'll be uploading this, so you can enjoy that as well. Cool. All right, I'll just wave goodbye for the YouTube video, but I'll still stay on Twitch with all you. Okay, bye.